The following content has been shortened for brevity. As a result, some details may be oversimplified or slightly inaccurate. For a more complete and accurate understanding, please refer to the additional resources linked in the description. The word Jehovah is popularly used for the name of the Israelite God. Its roots are partially in the Tetragrammaton, found in the Hebrew Bible. But there's more to the story. The actual pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton, that is, the name made up of the Hebrew letters Yod He Vav He, has been lost to time. Why? Because during the Second Temple period, it became Jewish tradition not to pronounce the divine name. Instead, readers would substitute it with Adonai, meaning Lord, or Hashem, meaning the name. But this created a problem when reading the scriptures out loud, since the name appears many times. If you read the Tetragrammaton with your eyes, you might accidentally say it aloud. To avoid that, scribes began obscuring the name in written form. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, for example, the divine name is sometimes written in Paleo-Hebrew script, or even replaced with tetrapuncta, that is, a series of 4 dots. Meanwhile, it's widely accepted that ancient Hebrew was written without vowels. That changed when the Masoretes, around the 6th to 10th century CE, began adding vowel points and accent marks above and below the consonants. They also developed a system called kere and kethiv. Kethiv refers to what is written in the text. Kere tells the reader what is meant to be read aloud. Rather than replace a word outright, the Masoretes would insert the vowels of the intended word around the consonants of the original, and then write the intended word in the margin. This meant the reader would see a strange, nonsense word in the text, realize something was off, and check the margin to find the correct word to say. But in the case of the Tetragrammaton, there was no need to correct the word. It wasn't wrong, it just wasn't supposed to be spoken. So instead of writing anything in the margin, the Masoretes inserted the vowels for Adonai directly into the Tetragrammaton. And when Adonai was already in the sentence, they used the vowels for Elohim. Adonai means Lord. Elohim is a plural form of God, but is often used as a singular name for the deity. The result? We have no manuscripts that contain the correct vowels for the Tetragrammaton, and so the original pronunciation is lost. So how did we end up with Jehovah? Well, it seems to have come from a misunderstanding. Between the 1100s and 1500s, Christian scholars in Europe began studying Hebrew texts, but they didn't fully understand the Masoretic system or the Jewish tradition of avoiding the divine name. So what did they do? They transliterated what they saw written, the Kethiv, without realizing that it was meant to be read differently. The result? A hybrid word that never existed in ancient times, Jehovah, and in Latinized form, Jehovah. The J comes from German, where it is pronounced like a Y. The first known person to write this name in Latin was probably the Spanish Dominican monk Raymundus Martini, around 1270, in a work titled Pugio Fidei, The Dagger of Faith. From there, the name began appearing in Christian scholarship and Bible translations. Eventually, Jehovah made its way into English Bibles, including the King James Version, where it appears in a few places, such as Psalm 83, verse 18. But let's be clear, Jehovah is not the original pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton. In fact, it's not even a good transliteration. It's a mashup, a misunderstanding of the Masorete system, which was designed to prevent people from pronouncing the divine name. Today, most scholars agree that the closest approximation we have is Yahweh. Interestingly, Jehovah's Witnesses agree, but they choose not to use Yahweh. They write, "While inclining to view the pronunciation Yahweh as the more correct way, we have retained the form Jehovah because of people's familiarity." That's a strange position, especially for a group that constantly emphasizes the importance of using God's actual name. In effect, they're continuing the tradition of avoiding the divine name by deliberately choosing a misunderstood and incorrect version instead.